Hello and welcome to Strategic News International. I'm Parul, Chandra, and I'm going to be talking to Mr. Pinak Ranjan Chakravarty, who is a former High Commissioner of India to Bangladesh. We'll be talking about the upcoming visit of the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina. Welcome to SNI, Ambassador Chakravarty. Let me begin by asking you, what do you think is the present state of India-Bangladesh ties? And I mean, everyone says they're good, they're cordial, she's been great for India, but I'm sure there are some prickly issues between the two sides.
Well, there are issues between friends also. So I think, and in our, the way we look at these things is that even if you are very, very friendly, there will be issues. After all, they are neighbors. Mm-hmm. We have issues with all of our friends, and something or the other happens. Trade issues, etc. But of course, with Bangladesh, we have had a good run in the sense of our relations are extremely stable and friendly and good. There's a great deal of trust in the relationship, particularly after Sheikh Hasina became Prime Minister in 2008. And then she's had two more, this is her third term.
Yes,
she's coming to India for the first time during her third term. Mm-hmm. But of course, there are issues between us, and which we have been discussing for a long time. And there are issues always between even friendly countries. And so I think this will be another one of those occasions where we will go over those issues and see how they will, of course, raise some issues. We will also have some issues, mm-hmm. etc. And so I think there will be a friendly discussion, and we'll try to figure out how best we can deal with them.
Yes, the ties are friendly, they're cordial, and as diplomats will say, on an upward trajectory. But there are some matters that are irritants in the relationship, and my reference is to the National Register of Citizens in Assam. Bangladesh is upset about it, though they haven't said so officially, as well as the Rohingya issues. What would you say to these?
Well, let me begin with what I would place as a bilateral irritant, mm-hmm. Directly as a bilateral irritant, and which is, of course, the sharing of river waters. There is a problem. There is not enough water, and there is a problem of sharing. And particularly the Teesta agreement, which we had sort of initialed and more or less we have a draft ready. But it wasn't agreed to by the state government and
yes, the West Bengal
government, and because they feel that they are giving away too much, probably, and I think that's the reason why they held it up. Mm-hmm. So that is also an issue. The water levels are down. The glaciers are not giving enough water. They are plus the population has grown to such an extent along these rivers. And then there is a very water-intensive irrigation taking place on both sides. So I'm afraid the rivers are being denuded of water on both sides, and hence there is a shortage of water. But the question is, as friends, we have to share that shortage. So they, of course, need a minimum flow of water, mm-hmm. which is going to, because since there is no agreement, there is nobody is stopping any water, it's flowing. But it is an agreement that which has to be done finally.
Yes, you mentioned Teesta.
Teesta is the main one.
Yes, main one. And Sheikh Hasina has been on a kind of a somewhat sticky wicket on this issue, because she's been telling her domestic constituency that she will get this agreement through as far as India is concerned. Don't you think it's time that India delivered on this agreement, and is it going to happen during the visit?
I doubt it very much. I think although yes. Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee was in Delhi and this issue may have been discussed, but I'm not sure whether anything can be done. My sense is that given the politics between Kolkata and Delhi, it's probably not happening. The other issues that will come up, in my view, are of course the main bilateral issues over trade, over connectivity, and connectivity is going on. There'll be review. Maybe we could do more connectivities. Then, of course, the power agreements that we have done. Then these are the kind of things that will come up. Maybe opening up of new trade channels. Perhaps the Sundarban, which is a major ecological space, whether both countries can do something to protect it better and things like that. As far as the Rohingya is concerned, it is not really a direct bilateral issue because the Rohingyas had been pushed out from Myanmar. But I think Bangladesh expected that we would tilt in their favor as far as
Certainly,
the Rohingya issue
yes.
is concerned.
Yes, because Bangladesh has been saying that the Rohingya issue poses a threat even to India. It's a regional issue rather than just their issue. And they feel that India has not really given enough push to this issue in terms of ensuring that they begin returning to Myanmar.
I think it was not possible for India to be very partisan in this case. It is, of course, very regrettable that the Rohingyas have been pushed out by the Myanmaris. But because we have to maintain a certain relationship with Myanmar also, which is a sensitive relationship given that China factor is there. And hence, we have tried to do it quietly, tried to help Bangladesh quietly in terms of course, direct humanitarian assistance and, of course, talking to the Myanmaris. And all the agreements that have been done for repatriation has been basically by pushing the Myanmaris into a certain position that, that you can't do this and get away with it. You have to have some agreement. But the point is that even the Myanmaris, and I would say that the larger population of Myanmar is extremely anti-Rohingya. And so I think that is another problem. And so the Myanmaris themselves are having a problem in how to resettle them, etc. Some trickle is happening, but the Rohingyas themselves now don't want to go back. That is another problem. And the burden on Bangladesh is quite a lot,
Yes,
about a million people there.
Yeah, and again, coming back to New Delhi's stand on the Rohingyas, we've been pretty much quiet. We did make a statement, but after that we have been providing some humanitarian assistance. But I think that what Dhaka really wants is India to speak up.
Well, I think speaking up in the sense that if you can make a lot of noise with no result, it's there's no point, shouting about it when you don't have any solutions to offer. So it is better to work quietly with both sides, and this is one part of diplomacy that we believe in as far as this situation is concerned. That is going to be more productive than making noises. Naturally, Bangladesh will do a bit of sulking on this and thinking that maybe they could goad India into some. But we will go by what we feel is right, what is in our interest. We understand Bangladesh's predicament and we are willing to help.
Talking about the NRC, there is a lot of controversy over it domestically. And I think Bangladesh is concerned about it. External Affairs Minister Jaishankar was in Dhaka in August, and he said that it's India's internal affairs. And of course, Dhaka is being diplomatically quiet about it because they're just waiting and watching the situation, but there is definitely concern.
Well, we have tried to insulate the NRC issue from Bangladesh by calling it a domestic issue,
That's
which
right.
it is. But beyond that, I think Bangladesh would be worried because as to what is going to happen to these stateless people.
Yes, where are they going to go?
They are, there is no doubt that these are illegal migrants, which Bangladesh also knows but refuses to acknowledge because they can't really afford to get millions of people back into their own country. Bangladesh is a very, very densely populated country, and they would like as much of their population to leave as, that is their unofficial policy. And whether they like it or not, but that is the policy, that they would like their people to go abroad to work, to go elsewhere to work, to ease the sort of,
the pressure
on the land, for example. Population. So it's a problem. We understand that Bangladesh has this problem. And the fact is that illegal migration has been taking place. There are agreements in place. So the NRC is nothing new. It is something which has been pending for several decades. So in that sense, I think people should have a perspective on the NRC in the sense that it is not started by the BJP government. It had begun much earlier under the Assam Accord, under Congress governments, and the NRC is a very old thing. But now they have implemented it because the Supreme Court has ordered the implementation.
So that is the point when...
It is not the government which has ordered the implementation, but the Supreme Court. So it had to be done. And of course, people are now looking into various issues that have been voiced by BJP leaders about illegal migration, etc., and things like that. So that it is being seen like that in Bangladesh. Bangladesh is worried in the sense that what will happen to all these people if they are put under pressure in India. They might as well try to go back. Where will they go? And some of them may want to go back to Bangladesh, which I don't know whether that will happen. But if they are put under pressure, then some may seek to get out and either to other parts of India or into Bangladesh. Probably not into Bangladesh because there's no future for them there. So this is a situation. It's hanging fire. It's a sword of Damocles, kind of hanging over the heads of these people, and also which worries Bangladesh as to the final outcome of this exercise.
Another element of concern where the NRC is concerned is that the kind of statements that have been coming from government leaders on Bangladeshis, where they're being called termites or infiltrators indirectly, is also fanning conservatism and the radical Islamic elements within Bangladesh. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, the radical elements within Bangladesh or anti-India elements in Bangladesh, and there is a sizable section of them in Bangladesh, will naturally fan it, and they will use it against Hasina, saying that, oh, you are so friendly with India, but India is doing this to you. And they are preparing to send back all these illegal, so-called Bangladeshis in their sort of point of view, back to Bangladesh. What are you going to do? So, and you have been so friendly to India, but this is what India is doing to you. That's the kind of political sort of mudslinging that is going to take place in Bangladesh. It has already started, I think. So I think that is the worry, that she has to face this sort of onslaught, political criticism that she will face. And somehow there is a section in Bangladesh which criticizes the Awami League for being friendly or too friendly with India and pro-India, as if that is something diplomatically, one shouldn't do, that Bangladesh shouldn't do, which of course I find it very odd. But this is a way of, I think, putting Hasina in the dock in terms of political criticism.
What kind of a wish list do you think Sheikh Hasina will carry? And what kind of a wish list do you think India will have on its part when the two sides meet during her visit? A quick summation.
I think there will be new avenues that we will probably think of. Power has been a new factor. I mean, it began when I was there as High Commissioner. The initial power talks began, and we tried to put the two grids together, and all those agreements were done at that time. Of course, that has taken off very well. We have new power arrangements. I think the new thing is that there's a lot of criticism on the power agreements because of its impact on the Sundarban area, which is a ecologically sensitive area, protected area. So I think the two governments need to do something about that. Climate change is another area where both governments can work together. Solar Alliance, I think Bangladesh is already a member. Then the connectivity projects, the railway connectivity, road and other connectivity projects that we are doing needs to be sort of pushed through quickly. There is, of course, the whole issue of transit arrangements for Indian goods going across Bangladesh to the northeastern sort of states. Because one of our main, I think, concerns about the Northeast to provide is to provide it connectivity. Cyber connectivity has been improved thanks to Bangladesh, because of the agreement that we have that gateway from Cox's Bazar now going directly up to the northeastern states. So that some of the things have been done. There are also, we can ease visa regulations because a lot of Bangladeshis come to India. In fact, they are the largest largest number of
huge
foreigners.
number of
They are the
applicants.
largest number
Yes.
of foreigners who visit India. So I think we need to ease that thing. We have to give them more opportunities there. Then I think the waterways need to be looked at as to how we can
Inland
use them.
waterways for
The
transportation.
inland waterways, whether you can use it for tourism also, and various other things that can be looked at. Basically, incrementally, we have to take it forward in terms of then the land border stations and the land
Border
custom
hearts.
station, border hearts. There are more border hearts coming up, I think. So some of these will happen. And I don't see anything big bang happening at the moment, because I think there's a lot on the plate. I think this is what needs to be pushed.
On that note, thank you so much, Ambassador Chakravarty, for talking to SNI.
Thank you.